We finally stayed overnight at our first Walmart. We got to visit Page, Arizona. We got to see Glen Canyon, Horseshoe Bend. But at Horseshoe Bend, we had a huge scare, so we want to warn you about that.
Yeah, it was terrifying. Welcome back to the RV Odd Couple. My name is John.
And my name is Mercedes. Long story short, we sold most of our possessions to RV full-time in pursuit of freedom, independence, and adventure.
Because life is so short, guys.
It really is. We left Pagosa Springs, Colorado, and our ultimate destination was Zion in Utah. But we allowed ourselves 2 days to travel there, and we had quite the adventure.
We took Route 160 from Pagosa Springs. We dropped into Durango, and once you get out of Durango, you drop into Mesa Verde, and from there it's pretty much desert and absolute no man's land.
We drove through so many different landscapes. It was so beautiful. And yeah, maybe some might not see the desert and see it as beautiful, but when you haven't seen it for so long, you miss it and you appreciate it. Typically we travel using US highways or like the interstate, and this time we were using state highways, so it was a very different experience. It was also different because we were traveling in a much smaller RV, so we were able to stop more, and we took full advantage of that.
Yeah, one of the things we've learned from RVing, we're coming up on 2 years, believe it or not, is to stop and smell the roses. We didn't rush. We stopped as we went when we saw something beautiful, pulled over, had lunch, had a snack, or took some shots.
One of the first and notable stops that we made was in the Four Corners, and I didn't realize that Four Corners is on tribal lands, and I didn't realize that tribal parks have been closed for 2020. I really wanted to visit the Four Corners. It didn't look anything like I'd expected it to.
Now, Route 160 was absolutely amazing, and the landscape changed like every 20 or 30 miles. It's hard to get scale with a camera.
Yeah.
It's super hard to get scale with a camera, and we pulled over to look at this absolutely massive mound that it seemed to be about 700, 800 feet tall. And as we pulled in, we had an RV Odd Squad member kind of
photobomb us.
Yeah, photobomb us, drive by waving as we would trying to get shots.
Which was kind of cool. Like,
it was super cool.
Y'all can photobomb us whenever you want. That felt so cool. You got to talk to them while I was inside with Sage. So
yeah,
that was
but a quick tip. When you make that turn, right, when you're on 160 and you make that hard turn to the southwest, you're going to notice that there's not going to be any gas stations for about 100 miles. So make sure you fuel up when you can. Over a period of about 150 miles, I think we saw 2 gas stations, both of which were on tribal land.
And very far away from one another.
Very far away from anybody. So we were Zen RVing, which means we didn't have...
We were flying by the seat
We were
of our
flying
pants.
by the seat of our pants. We didn't have any reservations.
When you're RVing and you're kind of winging it, one of the nice things is that spontaneity adds to the level of adventure, and I think it's very enjoyable. But it also kind of puts you in a tight spot because we were traveling a lot slower than we normally do, enjoying the scenery, and it was getting later and later, and as night was approaching, we started looking for places to stay, but we just couldn't find a place. You see, John was using his Campendium app, and I'm not trying to throw shade, I'm just sharing our experience. But twice it sent us to a location that had reviews, recent reviews, but like we could not find it. I was calling all of the campgrounds in Page, Arizona, and it was so late at night nobody was answering. One thing for sure though is that our lack of planning became really apparent when it came time for dinner. I didn't really plan dinner too well, so there's nothing like gas station Hot Pockets to really hit the spot for dinner after a long day's travel.
You like Hot Pockets, Chittles?
I do.
Good. What do you think, Skip?
I think Skip likes Hot Pockets too.
We ended up rolling into Page, Arizona. God, I think it was around 10:30, 11 o'clock at night.
It was really late.
But what was really cool is we're in a Class C that's only 31 foot. Had we been in our fifth wheel, which is I think 66, 67 feet when I'm attached, it would have been a problem where that map had brought us. But Mercedes had a Dirt app that she had downloaded, and the Dirt app gave us the right location. And what was really funny about this is that I think this is the nicest Walmart in the entire country.
Yeah.
It's got like 4.5 stars. It's got like 11 reviews on it.
I guess it's like one of the best Walmarts to stay at for RVers. So
it was cool.
It was really cool. And I was so terrified because I didn't know if we were in a good neighborhood or a bad neighborhood. And I've seen so many horror stories of RVers staying overnight at Walmart and getting into accidents, like somebody hitting their RV or getting told at 3 o'clock in the morning that you have to leave, and you definitely don't want to be driving when you're that tired. So I was terrified.
Mercedes and I have watched enough videos, other YouTubers, about Walmarts, and we've always wanted to try staying at a Walmart, but we had never done it. It's always that 1% of jerk-offs, right, that wreck it for everybody, leaving bottles outside, not cleaning up after themselves.
Staying at a Walmart is not a right. It's really more of a privilege. It is private property. It's a privilege that I hope will be available for the next generation of RVers to come.
So we slept in our first Walmart parking lot last night. I think this is the nicest Walmart parking lot that there is in the whole country. The reviews are almost, I think they're 4.5 stars, which is pretty amazing. We're actually going to leave a review for these guys.
Yeah, it's funny. You wouldn't think there'd be reviews on the parking lot, but apparently there are. But, you know, even though it was highly rated, I still felt a little uncomfortable. So I slept in all my clothes because I was just like, what if we have to get up soon? And if it weren't for the fact that there's like a whole bunch of RVs in the parking lot, I probably would have said, no, we got to go somewhere else, because I know some Walmarts are really iffy about RVers staying there. But I think I was nervous. I think you were a lot more comfortable than I was.
Pretty comfortable. I broke down into the underwear to sleep. I got a great night's sleep last night.
Yeah, he doesn't care if there's an emergency. He'll just walk out.
There's other RVers here. There's a dozen other RVs here parked in the parking lot. A lot have their slides out. Most of them are running their generators, which made me feel comfortable to fire ours right up. So it was nice. We are in Page, Arizona.
Okay.
Yes. And yesterday we went through Ute Nation, Navajo Nation. The trip was absolutely gorgeous. This morning we're packing up, waiting for Sage to wake up.
Yeah.
We're going to head over to Horseshoe Canyon. The high today is going to be 68, so we're super excited. We're going to be meeting some friends up in Virgin, Utah, and going to spend a few weeks near Zion.
Yeah, really excited about that. You know, this whole trip and meeting our friends and kind of caravanning, this is supposed to be finally our time to relax. And I don't even want to say that out loud, because every time I think we'll finally get to chillax,
something happens.
But this is the time where we're actually gonna like chillax.
Yeah.
But I definitely felt a little silly because we were all taking pictures at the Walmart. He got some drone footage of us at the Walmart, and it's like, of all the pretty places we've been to, we're recording in graphic detail.
Well, we've been RVing for 23 months, and we've heard all these stories of others staying at Walmarts, good and bad.
Yeah.
And so this place was gorgeous. I mean, it was nicely landscaped.
The next morning, I thought that we were going to head straight to the RV park that we had reservations at in Utah.
Yeah, so Mercedes doesn't remember, but I was telling her that Horseshoe Bend was on my bucket list, and I knew I was going to Horseshoe Bend. But for some reason, Mercedes had she was clueless
I was blocking
that we were
him
going
out.
to Horseshoe Bend. So I was super excited the next morning. It was actually like 3 or 4 miles away from the Walmart.
So close.
So we woke up, we got gas, we fueled up, we headed down to Horseshoe Bend. I think it cost us $20 to get in. But you know, I was super excited to get there. We got a lot. Now, few things we did, what I think are mistakes.
Yeah.
Now, I knew just by a little bit of research that Horseshoe Bend is a 1,000-foot drop. And I felt that bringing the dog would be a little bit tricky and controlling Sage at the same time. But I was happy, I was excited. I said, hey, you want to bring the dog? Let's get the leash and let's go for a walk.
Well, because Skippy's such a good boy.
Yeah.
And actually, he was the best behaved in the walk, okay? It was a little bit of a hike to get there. And they said to bring water. So I didn't have a backpack on me. So I'm holding bottles of water, right? And then I'm also trying to control the dog, and I'm trying to control my 5-year-old. My hands were already like holding on to more than I could really hold on to. John was working on getting some awesome shots, and things were going pretty well. So it's about a 3/4 of a mile hike down to Horseshoe Bend. And as we were walking, it became increasingly clear that we had a 5-year-old that was not cooperating with us.
She was kind of complaining a little bit. We decided to let Sage walk the dog, which was kind of fun. She got really excited about it. Once we gave her an opportunity to walk the dog, she wanted to walk the dog constantly.
Entire time.
So she didn't want to let him go. But as we come up to Horseshoe Bend, I was super excited because I've seen pictures of this my entire life. I was fired up to see Horseshoe Bend. So we started approaching it.
And then in just one instant, you see there's a lot of rocks around the area that has the railing. And there's a lot of people climbing on those rocks, trying to get that ultimate quintessential selfie at Horseshoe Bend. Our daughter loves climbing things, and so she saw people climbing those rocks and she wanted to climb them too. And in just 1 second of moving the dog's leash from one hand to the other hand, she tried running up those rocks.
There's this fence that they just installed in 2017 because, believe it or not, 7 people in 9 years fell off into that canyon. And so the National Park Service went in and they installed an observatory deck with a fence. But the fence on the right side just stops. And it's rock. So it still allows people to get up there and get that beautiful selfie that they want, but it doesn't corral kids. Now, Mercedes and I were so captivated by the beauty of what we've seen, because it's amazing when you first see that canyon. It's not straight down. The cliffs actually go backwards. So if you fall off, it's straight down 1,000 feet. The beauty was absolutely incredible, and I'm trying to get shots. The baby's not cooperating. Skippy's not cooperating. And the next thing I know, I'm trying to get a shot. I look over and I see Sage going beyond that fence. And I said, grab her. Mercedes went, grabbed her by the jacket. But you guys know, it scared the heck out of both of us. And I remember there was this woman, she looked at us and she went like this. She just knew. She gave us this big smile and she said, God bless you guys.
Yeah, she was like, y'all need the blessings.
You guys need a break. And so after that happened, I mean, we were both so stressed out. It really wasn't a great experience the way I had imagined it. So we actually have asked one of our friends who had visited Horseshoe Bend not too long ago. We got some footage, but we were so stressed out and so afraid and almost quite honestly a little embarrassed about the whole thing because Sage just would keep crying and screaming and she wouldn't stop. She literally cried all the way back home, the whole 3/4 miles. Thank you to our friends, Jason and Amy, for giving us the footage that we weren't able to get because we want to share all the stuff that we see for those of you who can't get there.
I want other parents to be forewarned. You see, a lot of these national parks are absolutely beautiful and breathtaking, but they can be kind of dangerous for kids.
Yep.
I would rather share that and look bad than to say his bucket list moment went perfect when it really didn't.
National parks have no liability. You can't sue the government.
Yeah, or Mother Nature.
Or Mother Nature, right? It is what it is. But you'd think that 7 deaths at Horseshoe Bend is a lot over 9 years. Actually, 17 people a year die in the Grand Canyon. 4 of those are falls. If you have children, keep your head on a swivel, man.
And we took this lesson being really fresh. We also wanted to see Glen Canyon. So this time we're like, no, someone stays in the RV with the kid eating potato chips and one of us will go see it. And actually it was funny because John's like, why don't you go see it?
Yeah, but Glen Canyon Dam is only like 5 or 6 miles away.
Glen Canyon is so close to Horseshoe Bend that it's almost a sin not to visit.
You have to.
I just assumed that it was going to be as pretty and paved as Horseshoe Bend was, and that wasn't the case. So I went down there in flip-flops, and as you can see, this was not a flip-flop hike.
Kudos to you, babe, for getting that footage.
And they did have some spots for RV parking.
Yeah, there was actually only 2 spots, and I don't even think they were more than 60 feet. If you want to get down close to Glen Canyon, don't try to pull a fifth wheel on there.
Yeah, but it's free, so do it. Just do it.
You got to do it. If you go to Horseshoe Bend, you got to go to Glen Canyon Dam.
Yep.
It's beautiful, and it's different.
And it's free.
You get west of the Mississippi in this country, and the landscape changes every half hour to an hour.
Unless you're in Nebraska. I want to go back to Page, Arizona and check out everything else that's there, because there's a bunch of destinations there that you could really spend a lot of time just in that one city.
Yeah, it really bummed us out that Antelope Canyon was closed. The adventure is back on.
And appreciating it, because you never know if you'll be able to go back there.
You never know, especially at my age, I'll never know if I'll get another chance again. So we've slowed down, we're smelling the roses.
Okay, hold on, Joe.
We got into southern Utah, we met our friends. We're actually, in our next video, we're going to share with you the beauty of four-wheeling in a Jeep and being able to go places that you just cannot go on foot.
Yeah, we're gonna take adventure and ratchet up a couple notches. This is so, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I'm so out of my element.
Wait till you guys see the footage from our next video where we take the Jeep out and put it to the test for the very first time. Southern Utah is absolutely gorgeous. We'll see you in the next video.